Welcome in, everyone. We're gonna do our power hour stream here. Just gonna get everything set up here, make sure the screen's getting shared and everything. All right, finally Friday. Welcome, guys. Welcome, John's Mid Capital. And just want to make sure everything's working here. All right. How is the sound and everything for everybody? Okay. There we go. Fixing some of the sound there. Okay, so now we should be a lot better. Yeah, sometimes the mic, it switches over to my speaker. I have a speaker on, so I can hear my little dings when the flow comes in and never defaults and stays here. But take a peek at the flow and kind of what's going on right now today. And actually, I'm gonna pop this here. I want to throw this into the main chat too. So 1 second. All right. Yeah, that tide switched up pretty quick today. I mean, we were pretty flat on the put premiums for most of the day, and then obviously that drop in call premiums when the market decided to drop there a bit. Then you had your put premiums come up a little bit as well there. A lot of put volume still here. Obviously Tesla, your main contributor to that. Palantir and Meta also up there. Not a lot of call volume though. Just kind of looking at some of the flow here too. That's just coming in now. Just you're gonna have a lot of stuff overlapping earnings here too. Obviously, we got Q3 earnings coming up here, starting. Well, we got Delta next week, and then probably start seeing financials come in, and towards the end of the month, it will be in full swing. So just be really attentive to when something's reporting earnings, because you don't want to get trapped in that. But a lot of earnings coming up here. You can kind of look at these owl calls. I haven't had a chance to kind of look at some of the stuff. I was just getting stuff prepared for the live. But let's take a peek at these. So a little longer term, obviously you're going to overlap earnings. So we do have some previous open interest that I just want to see when that came in here. So back on the 19th, it looks like we had some there. Okay. So 19th there. Pop it 90 days and see. Yeah, definitely not the same person. Take a peek at that flow here. So 39.28. So I actually really like this flow, just kind of looking at it right here. Just see how that IV increases when it comes in. Your spot price is also increasing here. The only downside of this is that bid-ask spread, a little wider bid-ask spread here. I'd try to, throw in a bid if I was going to take something like that so you don't get caught up there with the ask. Obviously a little longer term here too, and we can take a peek at it on the chart here. Let's pop in owl. So owl here. So we're going to look at it and pop it out to the daily first. Obviously, it's a little longer term than probably a daily trade, but see a good spot for a trend line already. So we're going to kind of come in here and adjust it out a little bit more. Let's see. Pop her up here. So you're sitting below that uptrend here. And I'm just kind of looking at where we are here as well. So I'm going to adjust this demand zone a little bit better here. I just want to narrow it in, but I want to get a start here. So from a longer term perspective, when I'm looking at these owl calls 105 days out, I'd probably look at the weekly on something like this, but I mean, that is a nasty head and shoulders here on the daily as well too. So I mean, this would be your spot right here. I mean, it's going to be make or break here. You're going to either get that bounce or you're going to crash. And I mean, you're right at that neckline there too. And I mean, the one thing I like here is, I mean, you're pretty oversold here. I mean, you come back down here and just, I mean, that RSI is typically bounced here as well. But it's a tougher one there with that head and shoulders. I just don't like that head and shoulders. Looking at it on the weekly too, I mean, weekly looks a little better. Obviously, again, that head and shoulders still sticking there, but you're right on that 200-day moving average as well there. A lot of selling this week too. Yeah, that one, a little tougher on something like that. But I mean, with that longer flow there, let's see if we got any other flow on it here. 24% out of the money. Let's see if we got anything else here. Let me grab another tab here. Let's see. So yeah, that's your biggest premium on the day there, and I mean, that's bid side there. Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty good to me. I'm going to pop this into the long-term channel here, or in the long-term flow here. Yeah, and I mean, you got that spike in that net call premium too. I wonder how this looks over the past. Yeah, just not a lot. Not a lot. I do want to look at one more thing as well here too. Yeah, that gamma's kind of down a little bit here too. I mean, price is still, I mean, you got a lot of positive gamma up here too. So I mean, it's looking for, oh, that thing popped back here. But yeah, you had a lot of positive gamma here, and price hasn't caught up to that yet either. So I mean, interesting to see what happens with that one. Got to get past that negative gamma. Need to see that kind of improve a little bit. Even if you could get from that 16 back up to this gamma, about that 20-ish price, that'd be a nice little move there. But let me pop this owl into the chat. I think I already took a screenshot, but I guess I'm doing another one. Let's see. All right, so that's one piece there. About these Tesla calls, so again, going to overlap earnings. This is leans towards the ask side here. Obviously, Tesla getting crushed the last couple days. What do we got here? 500 plus that, so 1,000. Probably wouldn't try to chase these. I'd want to see how much of this actually carries over into Monday. You got a big chunk of kind of ask, bid, and mid here. Let's kind of see how that IV's moving. What's up, simulation? 65.15, 65. Yeah, see, you see how that IV's kind of here at that 65.15. Pops a little bit, drops, comes back up. drops a little bit more. Yeah, I don't really like that flow there. Tough one there. And I mean, that's that other chunk there. About these 115.27 NAK2 calls. A little slower mover here for me. I'm not a big fan of those. Up 10%, almost 10% on the day, 9%, 50% out of the money. This to me is junk. I just don't like slow movers. I'm not a fan of them. 24. I mean, just looking at it flow wise though, 132.40. And drop on smaller size, and then you pop on bigger size and premium there. Flow wise, I'd say it looks good. Obviously, really, really long term on a $2 call. That's where I don't like that one. Yes, Sal, I can pull up Lily for you here. Is there a specific contract or anything you just want to kind of look at the overall flow, see if there's anything interesting there? All right, give me 1 second here. Pull up my list. All right, come on. Well, I'm going to tell you right away, this looks interesting to me here. Somebody likes next week's 10-10-8-40 calls here. Obviously, they're not too far in the money where it's going to be bad. I mean, you're 1% in the money. Multi-leg, kind of high here. Your net call premium spiking here. Put volume, though, so that's kind of mixed there. Let's see what else we got here. So some 7-day bid side calls. Just trying to look throughout here. What about this big guy? So multi-legger, let's just see if we can. So that looks like a roll right there to me. Yep. It's going to give you a roll there on that call from a floor trade as well. Bid side put, 190K. Yeah, some bid side calls there. This looks like, again, like another. Let's pop this in here. Come on, pull in. It's not going to pull in. Sometimes on the different strategies like that, it won't always pull them in. But yeah, another multi-leg one there. I would say what catches my attention here are those 840 calls here. And I mean, those just came in 4 minutes ago too for next week. I mean, you see that spike right here. So my guess is they're probably trying to play that trend up for the rest of the day. And I do want to look at, see how gamma's looking for you. Your daily gamma, yeah, I mean, it's up there. I mean, could see a little bit more move here. Could see a little more, maybe 850-ish or so. But yeah, a lot of positive gamma here, and obviously price finally starting to kind of catch up to that too. I do want to see one more thing on that as well. So let's see. So bid side calls on that one. So okay, these are the ones that I think look like a roll here to me because you got 8 million. I think that 690 and 720 are probably related. I'm taking an educated guess and we'll take a peek. 720 and the 690. There we go. So I'll call credit spread on that one. Yeah, interesting one there. I like those weeklies that came in there, Sal. My guess is they're probably trying to take that trend up here for the rest of the day. Let's see how we're moving. Yeah, I mean, this is just a trendy trade here, and I just want to do a quick peek. Actually, I'm going to move this over to TradingView. Specifically brought up TradingView so I didn't have to trade or chart on Webull. And right away here, Here is your trend. Just kind of make it a little cleaner here. I mean, this is going to be your big spot here. You're going to break out of that downtrend. And I mean, just kind of looking at that volume's a little lighter today. Let's see, this was on the 1st. So a lot of volume here on the 1st. Something like this for a discounted entry. If I was looking for a little discounted entry, because I mean, this is going to be your spot where either breaking through and going, I mean, because your RSI is getting into that overbought territory as well, too, and just kind of looking from the previous highs here. I mean, RSI's tended to bounce down a little bit here, too. And let's see, just kind of trying to take a peek here. Yeah, I mean, if I was looking for a quick little discounted entry, let's see, so right here, let's try to get a little zone, and it's not even the best spot for a zone either. Yeah, I'm not a fan of, let's see, where's my support? Let's just do a little support line. So yeah, I'd probably, well, your support's right here, that resistance, so okay, let's come down here. Like if you're going to look for a discounted entry for next week, I'd want to see a pullback to, I mean, that 828, but this would probably be more of a better momentum play if you're breaking through that uptrend. That support's kind of a little further down from that momentum entry, but yeah, like this, I'd probably look for a breakthrough to that upside on that, and you have some of that flow to back it up. Let's look at these target calls that came in here. 10.10.92, so 1 cent below the ask. Do have some previous open interest on this. Let's just go and take a peek. Okay, definitely not the same person. So put premiums up a little bit right now. Call premiums ticking up. Let's see. So 64. So you get the IV spike. IV spike here. Pretty close to the ask. I would probably lean this is going to be ask side here. I'm just kind of looking at that overall flow here. So 1436, and that timing is pretty similar there. IV spiked again there. I like these target calls, the weekly target calls here. You're 3% out of the money. Again, I mean, the only issue is, do you trust swinging contracts over the weekend with theta decay? But otherwise, I mean, I like that flow. That flow looks good on the target calls. Let's take a peek at these Google calls that come in. So right away, this is showing it's coming in at the ask. Leans more towards the bid here. Some big size, and you got a lot of volume on here, so you're not going to probably be able to track something like this. I mean, a lot of volume here earlier in the day. This is one you'd have to wait for Monday to update to double check, and we do have some previous open interest. Obviously, Google's traded a lot, so that's why you're seeing that spike in that volume and open interest there, but this would probably, my guess is, and I don't like to guess on volume because it can, oh dude, I'm feeling a lot better. You can tell I'm not coughing every 5 seconds now. Feeling a lot better. Thank you for asking. Yeah, these Googles would want to wait till Monday to double check that. Yeah, that cough was killing me, man. That was not fun. It's like 2.5 weeks of having a cough, and it was asthma. That was a thing, and they gave me prednisone finally. I'm like, oh, finally something to help out. A lot of SPY puts coming in here. Oh wait, these are the ones I posted earlier. I was like, a lot of SPY puts coming in. Well, duh, I posted them. Okay. And this one, obviously, we had more come in right after here too. My guess is they'll probably carry over into Monday. I have to see. And where are we right now, too? Yeah, can't get back above that VWAP, and that was a nice rejection off the VWAP there. Waiting for my January reports to go green. I think I'm down about 5% or so here. And we got some more Lily calls here for you, sell. 1017, 875, 790K in total premium. This is definitely an opening trade right here. They're adding to it. My guess is they're adding to this position here from that 915. Just math-wise, it's definitely being added in. So that looks good there. Kind of higher multi-leg. Let's see where we can find where it's multi-leg, though. Let's see. So it's not on this part. And this flow looks good here. 461 runs up. That flow looks good there. I don't think that's your multi-leg part. It's probably in here. Yep. So this is telling you call ratio spread. This should pull into the calculator. So this one's expecting it to kind of go down a little bit. This is why I don't trade spreads. I'm not a spread trader. I do not like trading them. So that one's a little different because you have this flow here that does show its single leg here. And then it reads as a buy to me. And then you have that other weekly flow. So yeah, that probably looks good. That's a big spike in that net call premium. How's this look for the last 7 days? Oh, that's okay. This is why I always kind of zoom out because on that 1 day chart it looks pretty big, and then there's your massive spike back here on the 3rd. Or sorry, not the 3rd, the first. Days are all messed up. I saw the 3rd there. I'm like, today's the 3rd. See, hymns multi-leg, void that. How's our tide looking? Yeah, just no call participation right now. The put volume's kind of decreasing a little bit. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, just a lot of, junk. This is probably a block trade. Oh, nope. Let's take a peek. And I'm not a big fan of trading something that's already up 5% on the day. 28 days out, you can definitely get a discounted entry on something like that. Yeah, this flow looks good. IV spikes there. Coming in at the ask. 16. Yeah, that flow would look good there to me. And then obviously you have some of that the other 90 call here. I just don't like how that's a mid, so that's kind of where you combine both data points there. I think we had some other flow on this for the day. Yeah, just a lot of call flow on the day for it. Let's see, did this make a move? Yeah, that made a move. Yeah, and then you got that put premium picking up a little bit there too. So that's telling me you might see a little pullback there, maybe Monday, Tuesday. I have to see. So some more Tesla puts in. This, a weekly, even though it's above the ask, this is almost garbage. Theta's going to eat those things away on the weekend. Obviously, if there was really negative news about Tesla over the weekend, that could be a different story, but typically I would not want to swing these over the weekend because these are going to get ate up 25% out of the money. Yeah, even though, this reads as a buy, but this is just kind of knowing fundamentals of contracts and all that. Probably wouldn't want to take those. But that is interesting flow for sure. That put premium is just up. Yeah, 2 days there. Your call premium's tailing out. A lot of outflow there. Let's see, what else do we got? tide here. I'm going to pop that tide in the chat here. Does anybody have any flow or anything they want me to take a peek at again? While we wait for some other stuff to come in here, because it's kind of quiet. What are these guys doing? A little pop, almost kind of break even. A lot of flow that's going to be in the recap this week too. A lot of flow the last couple days here. I mean, today we had a good chunk. Wednesday we had a pretty good chunk. Yeah, just a lot of flow here than last week's here. Yeah, it'll be an interesting recap. A lot of quick moves on the flow too this week. Let's see, the one thing that we were kind of talking about in the chat earlier too that I'll kind of touch on, and Zigford was in here. He's gone now. I don't know where he went. But simulation, I know you can touch on this too as well. But just looking at that SPY, how diverged our price is from that gamma, there will be a time when that price catches up to this gamma. That's pretty much some of the reasoning for my January puts. I mean, you see it up here. I mean, where we were sitting here, you get all that negative gamma, and then price tends to start to follow it a point, and then you just come back here and see where that positive gamma was here in SPY, just kind of magnetic, is like a magnet to it. And now here we are again, lots of negative gamma, and when are we going to see that pullback? That is the thing here. And I mean, a couple days this week, I mean, and last week, you had some pretty bigger days of negative gamma here, and you can see that price kind of dropped a little bit on those days, but you'll typically see price come back and hit that gamma level too, or the daily gamma exposure, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I want to see how Tesla's gamma's looking. I haven't looked at that. Yeah, so I mean, like, you see how price is starting to kind of drop down towards it a little bit. I'm trying to see if I can find a good example here. I know, simulation, I always go back to this one that we were looking at earlier in the year when it was FSLR. This is almost a perfect example of it. Like, when I think it was like March or April when we were looking at them, but it was like, there's your big spike in that gamma, and you're just trading below here, and then here comes your price, comes back up to it. And, I mean, massive spikes here, and then here's your price finally kind of catching up to it. I mean, that was probably one of the better trades that we had, and I mean, that chart at the time looked really good too. Yeah, I mean, that thing was perfect, and we finally, because I'd never removed this drawing here. I drew that other shoulder. I'm like, here, watch, this would be nice, and then we can make a good head and shoulders, and there you go. But I mean, this is where we entered down in here. I mean, I don't know the exact day off the top of my head, but those Aprils, and I mean, you just kind of looked at that daily chart. There's your uptrend. You were in a demand zone. I mean, that thing, almost a $100 move here. But obviously, you have earnings and all that to overlap, so you're more than likely not going to hold it that long. But yeah, Bruno, yep, that's turning into a head and shoulders. We can look up some flow on it and see if there's any flow on it. And let me look at the gamma on it one more time too. Yeah, so I mean, you can see how that price has diverged from that gamma a little bit now. But let's see if there's any flow on it. peek here. Oh, nasty big multi-leg trade there. Let's see. Pop up this premium and see if we got any bigger. Actually, I'm gonna mess around here. Let's do 90. See what we got here. So multi-leg. Yeah, all multi-leg big stuff today. Multi-leg there. I thought I saw earlier, maybe this week or last week here. I'm gonna not seeing anything super interesting here. But let me do this. So I thought I saw a couple opening trades on FSLR earlier in the week. So these expired today, obviously. Just a lot there. Let's do the last 30 days here. Yeah, just a lot of multi-leg junk here. I mean, and my filter, I don't have a day's expiration on this, so this is everything that's opening. I don't see anything, but yeah, I mean, Bruno, that chart's showing like it's set up for a very nice pullback here. And yeah, simulation, that's a good gap fill. I know Keith was talking about that. He would love to see a good 20% pullback. Probably going to fill that. Let me pull up my chart here. I think I have my gaps here. So our first gap to fill here would be... Actually, I got to adjust these. This was posted the beginning of the year. I don't really sit and chart on the SPX chart. So some of these gaps could be a little old. We'll move it over to SPY. So let me come in here. So we were just talking about this yesterday. It's my VWAP that's making it look a little goofy here. Let me hide this. So our first gap here is right in here. And sorry about the sloppy gap. Oh, I was like, what the hell? I thought somebody was like walking in my backyard. I'm like, how is somebody in the backyard? Okay. No, we have another gap before this. I'm just trying to look. We were just looking at this in the lives yesterday, too. Maybe this is our first gap. Down to 603 to 600. Why do I feel like there's a different gap there? I'm just looking at this yesterday, and it's going to bother me now. Because I swore there was another gap that would have brought us 10% down to fill. Oh no, that's about right. The math is there. It's Friday brain right now. Friday brain. So let me come here. So Friday. So from here to, yep, that's your 10% pullback to that first gap. So that would be your first gap fill there is about 10.25% there. It's a pretty big gap to fill there, and I wish Keith was in here because I know he was talking about this yesterday as well too. Our trend line coming back from here, we're kind of hitting up here a little bit, so we're rejecting. I can clean this up a little bit here. You're sitting right. I mean, you could see maybe a teeny bit more of a move here, maybe up to that 675-ish, and then maybe come down, but you are seeing a little, I mean, you're coming to that top of that uptrend there. And I mean, volume the last couple days, a little lighter too. I mean, you're starting to get overbought here. I have the... I don't want to pull up my broker, so I got to do it here. They are the January 610 puts. 116, 610 put. 762 is my average. I am down 9% right now. They were down 5% at one point today. So, patience play on those ones, obviously. A lot of time on those. And I went a little further out of the money, just kind of with that anticipation of a gap fill, possibly. So, that's... Usually I play a little closer to the money, but... hoping we see that gap fill. Let's see. Alright, what else do we got here? Okay, got a little more flow coming in here. So again, another one... pretty much a mid-fill. You're going to overlap earnings. Like, quick look, I'm not even going to waste my time looking at something like this. MicroStrategy for next week, the 370 call, 460. A lot of volume on it. You're probably not going to be able to tell who's who on something like this. Yeah, and you're a higher percent multi-leg too. Usually anything over 10% multi-leg, I kind of avoid it. Junky there. So BRKB, and I do keep multi-leg on too. I know I'll have people ask me every once in a while, but I like to just see that full spectrum of the flow. I mean, if I can hide multi-leg, I mean, you just come down here and you can easily just do single leg only somewhere right here. But I just like to, it's more for me just so I can kind of make sure everybody I can see what everything's getting hit. Yeah, simulation, it's going to be interesting, especially with no data coming in. And as long as that government stays shut down, it's going to be interesting. Especially when they can only go off private data. So let's look at these BRKBs. So, smaller size. I think this is up again today. Not too much. It's 4% multi-leg, 2% out of the money. We don't have an earnings date. I don't think it showed it here either. Nope. So, good spike in the net call premium. Call volumes there. Let's take a peek. So, IV drops a little bit here. Let's see. So, 1534. Let's just run up here and take a peek. Yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan of when that IV drops. There's so much flow that you can find, and if you like, if it doesn't match, you just... My legs call them. What do you mean? You just look right here, Bruno. It'll just show you like the little arrow thing. It'll tell you. So the little arrow thing is just showing you that it's multi-leg there. Instead of like having another like column with it. And if you click on the flow as well too, it'll just kind of show you it up there too. Yeah, I don't have that on. I try to not have as many columns on. Start getting overloaded with data. I'm trying to see the legs column here because I don't even see it on here. I don't think I've ever had it on. Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of kind of that. I can just kind of quickly, I mean, it's just screen time where you just kind of look over like arrow. Okay, I'm going to ignore that. But let's take a peek at the MGNI's 1121. So again, sadly overlapping earnings, and this is something that I'm posting in that spotlight flow where it's not earnings flow. It doesn't expire that week, but it's still interesting flow that, I mean, could be earnings related, might not be. So spike in the net call premium, probably a big spike. Well, yeah, lots of inflow here on call premiums here, and you haven't even made a move up here. So that's interesting to me right off the bat. Look at the flow here. So typically now, if we didn't have this flow here, I don't really have anything to go off of. But you can see here when this chunk of flow comes in, you have your size, premium, your IV spike. This looks good. Usually when it comes in like this is what I consider a block trade. You can't really read that flow around it. But this one, I can at least see that IV kind of change when that flow comes in. And that's a pretty big IV change there on something like that. So this is interesting to me. And then again, I mean, just using that other data point here. Lots of call-in flow here the last 7 sessions. And if we want to go deeper, take a peek at that gamma. So, I mean, a lot of positive gamma. You're already kind of up a lot today. Or, I mean, price is already matched up with that gamma. So, I mean, you're not seeing any big divergence or anything. Yeah, gamma-wise, you're about that same level, but that flow is really interesting to me there. How are we looking on the chart with that MGNI? Let's take a peek here. And that flow was, oh, and nope, it's the 21. I was like, hey, another piece came in. So 49 days. Again, and I'm a big trend line person too, so trend line obviously a little, could see a little more drop here. I'd like to see it hit that 200 day and then maybe get a spot there, see if it pulls back into there. Otherwise I want to look at this on the weekly. Alright, get this stupid thing going a little bit better here. Okay, so right here on the weekly, I mean, if I could see that pull back to that uptrend there, I mean, your uptrend's right here. Love to see that come in here into that zone about, well, your 200's down here on the weekly, obviously, but see it come to that trend line about maybe that 1911-ish spot and look for maybe a bounce there. Let's look at it on the daily with our little setup here. I mean, you can see this is your, it's been a big spot. I mean, a reject spot, a reject, bounce, then you reject there again too, reject. So, I mean, it's bounce, and I mean, you get here right at that 200 day on that uptrend. About that 1909, 1911, that's kind of what you're looking for there. And just trying to see anything else that's interesting here. Adjust that up a little bit. Try to do them as clean as possible, but when it's live, I don't sit and be super. I'm trying to look at what you're popped in the chat there, simulation, sorry. Simulation took her time probably charting that out. I'm trying to do it quick and alive. Bruno. I'm doing it a lot quicker and alive and trying to look at flow, so you got to give me a little break. I mean, the trend lines too, I mean, you're not going to be exactly the same as everybody else. I mean, all you're doing when you're trying to draw trend lines is just trying to hit as many of the bottom of the candles as possible without like going in too deep or too high. It all just comes down to the user and kind of how they see things. And like, I mean, if I look on the, I don't know what she had here, let's see. So okay, on the weekly, yeah, see, like her weekly looks, if I come in here and I draw that too, that I can draw hers too. Look at this. You just come in here, ooh, never mind, mine's a little uglier. Actually, I'm looking at yours now, simulation. I'm like, what the hell is she doing? You are on the week. You're a little... Well, whatever you did. Now I'm all confused. Thanks a lot. We can blame Bruno for it. we can just blame Bruno. Just everybody blame Bruno. But anyways, back to this one. Yes, I would look for maybe a drop to about that 200-day, kind of near that uptrend, and then that'd be my risk here, is if it broke below that. All right, let's see what else we got in here. A lot of multi-leg coming in. C121940 call. Is this that candy company? C Candy? I don't know. Well, I don't know what I was thinking. So, okay, at 9% out of the money, a little time on those. Spike in the premiums. And just a lot of inflow here the last couple days. I'm just looking at your Jax here. Simulation, sorry. 2023. I'm trading at 2023. Oh, yep. Yep, I see it here. And she's just talking about, okay, we're going to go back, sorry. Go look at the Magni. I want to look at that. So she's saying we're at support here, and I've been using this a little bit more too. Oh, no, it's not going to work because I'm trying to show an example. Yeah, so I mean you're 2023-ish. Nope, down here. So yeah, here's your support in here. Yeah, there's a lot of that positive net gamma on this 1-2 simulation. I mean, obviously see it there too, but interesting to see what happens to that one. Okay, we're gonna go back to the C. 121940 call. Spike in that net call premium. We had other spikes here as well. Obviously price moved up there. So this is where a good example of, I can't really read this. So you have that block trade. I don't have any flow before it, so I don't know how that IV would have been impacted when it came in. So that's where I don't like that. But just kind of can take a peek at the gamma on it and see how that looks. So yeah, I mean, see price following gamma pretty well there. Just trying to look at the previous here. And this thing's had a lot of positive net gamma. And I mean, like, perfect. So like the SPY gamma that we were talking about a little bit earlier, like you see how it's negative here. That price eventually comes up and catches up to it. So I mean, that's, again, hence the SPY put trade idea. But I mean, this has just been positive here. And I want to show, because there's a couple new people in here since we touched on that. So I mean, for the SPY, I mean, you can see that price has diverged from that gamma, and there's been negative gamma days, and we're waiting to catch up to that. And obviously SPY is going to move a lot differently than a single company. And I've actually never, I don't really look at the SPX gamma here, but I mean, you're pretty similar, where you could see a little pullback here. That is interesting to me. I don't really look at the SPX gamma. That the SPX gamma is pretty positive compared to that SPY gamma. That's interesting to me. How are we looking on the Qs for that? So yeah, even like QQQ here, I mean, like, another example here. I mean, you see all that positive gamma coming in here, and just the Q's kind of trailing it. Then you finally kind of come up and hit that price eventually. But now you can see a lot of negative, so we're going to hopefully, more than likely, see a pullback down here to that negative gamma there. All right, let's see how we're doing. Just kind of chopping into close here, but yeah. Oh, that was a nice rejection there. Let's see if we get anything else here before close. Yeah, just multi-leg junk. Nothing good bid side. Just those SPY puts. Tide not really flinching. You know, that put volume kind of dried up a little bit. Seeing a little more call volume now. Heard a ding. Okay, multi-leg. Yeah, that put premium, and I want to see how this looks on the week. So today's your probably big, yeah, today's your biggest day of put premium here on the week. A lot of bid side call action here. That's interesting to me. A lot of outflow there, so that's a good sign for the puts. And even just on a 2-week level, I mean, let's see, yeah, this is your biggest drop in net call premium over the last 14 sessions. Probably taking profits from that big spike there. Put premium kind of coming up finally. Probably your second biggest day since the 23rd here. And obviously see how price reacted off that. I would love to see that move again there. And here we are. Looks like we're dropping a little bit here into close. I wish Keith was on here so we could get the market on close. Actually, I can get the free one here, but let's take a peek here. I'm going to pop open X here. All right, I will pull. Yep, here we go. So here's your market imbalance here. I'll throw this in the chat just if anybody wants to take a peek at it. And I'm not the best with market on close info, but Keith's the pro at that. That's his thing there. Yeah. Looks like a good number. DraftKings calls. Okay, let's take a peek at these. Really long term. Good premium. Oh, I don't want beyond. Why did you do that? Okay. DraftKings. So big spike today. Yeah. Call premium there. Call premium there. 22% out of the money. Obviously, time on those. So again, this is your issue here. I don't have that flow to look around this. So I mean, this is kind of where charting and all that kind of comes in as well. And I'll look at the gamma on DraftKings after here too, and it looks like I already have a demand zone kind of built up here. So just adjust that out, and I mean, you can see where it's bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. Want it to come back in here and bounce, and obviously you're very oversold here. Just kind of extend this out a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, this is very oversold there, and I do want to look at the gamma on this. So yeah, you see how that price has diverged from it a little bit. Could see a pull or maybe a little pop here eventually. Again, takes a little time for it to catch up every once in a while, because I mean, you just look at this. I mean, you see all that spikes here. I mean, this is from roughly the beginning of June all the way to July, and I mean, it's a slow and steady move usually. But yeah, I like those DraftKings calls actually. Just kind of looking at the weekly here too. What news did we have this week on this? Because that's a nasty, nasty drop. I don't like looking at the news on that. Let's look in here. Let's see, do we have what news? Don't care about your opinion. Your opinion doesn't drive the stock. Well, yes, I can for you. Yes, I can. I'll post that one. I like that flow. I like that flow, so I will post that for you. That's the one thing when I'm doing the lives, it's so hard to post the flow because I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh yeah, this looks great, and then surprise, I don't post it. Okay. It is in your long-term flow channel for you there. That was a quick power hour too, man. I can't believe it's already almost 3. Let's look at these. These look kind of good. Thing is getting clapped. A lot of kind of mixed premiums there. 2% out of the money, 14 days, no earnings. Even these LVSs look kind of good here. LVS 42, 45, 43, 39. 339. Yeah, these look good, great flow-wise. Just quickly looking at my gamma. Ooh, that is really diverged on a longer term view. That thing's really diverged. Yeah, maybe for a quick scalp or something. I mean, you're getting clapped today. You're probably going to see dip buyers at some point. Anything else coming in before close? How are we doing here? Ooh, we're red on the day. I just want to check my puts. Hey, my puts are now down 8.79%. Almost flat on the day, too. That is the thing about buying time on contracts. You're actually, theta is very forgiving, and the contracts are very forgiving here. So let's see here. We're at 50. Yeah, looking like we're gonna probably. I'd be surprised if we drop $1 here into close, but you never know. Qs are getting not killed today, but equal weights are green. I want to see. Yeah, a lot more advancing than declining today as well, too. I mean, financials up, healthcare up, utilities up, energy up. This I would love to see blood red on Monday, just for some selfish reasons. Yeah, we're staying down a little bit. Is that tide changing at all? No, we're just not seeing any really change in the premiums, just the marketing. Let's see, dang, multi-leg. See, like, Bruno, like, you see how quick that is instead of having another column. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you, but I mean, I'm just so trained. I mean, like, usually when I'm reading that flow, I'm looking left column just to make sure that timing's the same. Well, on the main flow feed, it kind of doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of looking here right away, see if it's kind of a blockish trade. Look at the ticker, and I just work over quick. Nope, I do have cross trades on here. Cross trades do show up for me. I've had them show up. I don't have anything today, I don't think. Yeah, I hide the no side trades, though. I hide the no side because I mean, I have my, like, this is my strictly, like, ask side one. Then I have my bid side here, and then I just have ETF flow here. So, but I always hide the no side because I don't want to see that middle, really. But no, the cross trades do show up here for me, and I don't know if you can actually hide cross trades. I think only if you switch it to single leg, it'll only show a cross trade. Or I mean, it won't show them. Yeah, I don't think you can hide the cross trades unless you, like, do the single leg only stuff. But yeah, no, I'll have them pop up here. It's in the middle of my blind. Oh, duh. Yeah, no, I leave it on here then. I'm blind. I feel like Bruno came in here just with a list of things that he can get me on today. How are we finishing here? Coming into the end of the day. Going towards that low. How are my SPY puts doing? Hey, they're green on the day. Down 7% on there. No, that's serious. No, like, you ask like the best questions. Like, your questions are actually really good. I wish I could like take all those questions from that questions channel and put them into a like frequently asked questions area or something, because I mean the questions in there are really, really good, and I mean it's a lot of good info. But looks like our day is done here, so I'm gonna probably hop off here and we'll call it a day. So thanks everybody, and